Hello everyone and welcome to Stefan's podcast, the only podcast for everything Japanese news and what's going on in the big wide world of Tsushima. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. We have got some great news stories for you, so let's jump straight into them. The first news story is the story of a 108-year-old hairdresser who is still cutting hair. Could you believe this? She is over 100 years old and still cutting hair, and she still has quite a few customers apparently, which is amazing. I wonder what age they are, all of these different people that she's cutting hair. Fantastic story. She was born, would you believe this, before World War II, and she was born at the ripe old age, she was born in 1916, all of those years ago. I mean, you talk about what the stuff that she must have seen in all that time. It's amazing. So she originally opened a barbershop with her husband all the way back before World War II. She unfortunately lost her husband during the war. She evacuated to her hometown during the war, and she raised two children during this whole time. She participated in the Tokyo Olympics, the recent one. She participated in that, being a torchbearer, and she still cuts people's hair, which is amazing. Amazing. 108 years old, still working. I believe the shop that she's working in is her own. The article here isn't particularly big, but she said that she set up a shop during the time that she had her children. So I assume the one that she's still cutting in is her own shop, which is fantastic. 108 years old and still running your own business. I love that. I will say, I was going through the comments of this news story, and there's such a mixed thing of people such a mixed opinion of people working when they're older. Some people absolutely hate it because there's some people here going like 108 people still working. This is a sign of the times. And I would love to ask her if she's happy been working, because there are some people who do not want to retire. I think I'm in one of those. And I was thinking about it today, like, how would I go about still working when I'm at the ripe old age of 108 years old? And I was thinking, I'd really like to work like part-time still in a school. I think that as you're older is fantastic. You only work a little bit, you maybe help elementary school people with reading, things like that. That's if my eyes still work. At 108 years old, I hope they are. I mean, there were some people in this wondering, there are some people in the article with the comments saying, like, I don't know if I'd trust a 108-year-old person to cut my hair. I mean, I hope that her hands must be steady, especially if she's a barber as well. So I wonder if she still does shaves. So would you trust an 108-year-old person to shave your beard? For her, absolutely. She looks not a day younger than 70. Honestly, I can never tell how old people are in Japan. They have three ages. They have what they look like children, and then they go to about 20, and then after that they don't age for about 30, 40 years. Then they look about 40, and then after that they just suddenly jump to 1,000,000 years old. There is literally not a you can't tell the difference between a 40-year-old and a 100-year-old Japanese person. They look identical. There's such a huge jump. It goes, you look 40 and then bang, 100 years old. How old are the people? I don't know. I would not have said that the woman in this photo is 108 years old. I would have said somewhere around 80s. But she, oh my God, it really shows you keep working. You keep your muscles going. You keep everything good. You have a social life. I think it's fantastic. That's why I'm not a fan of retiring. I've seen some of my family retire, and I don't think it's healthy for you just doing nothing. And lots of people want to do this their whole life, and then they come back, they relax, and just do nothing. I think I would go insane. I need to do something all the time. I mean, this podcast is proof of that, because when I have free time, I like to do productive things, which is things like this. I just cannot just sit still and do nothing. I will go insane. But who knows? Maybe your life changes as you get older. Maybe by then you have children, grandchildren, and instead of working, you're spending time with them, which is very nice. Who knows? Who knows? I will say there's a funny sketch about that in Outnumbered, where the grandparents come and help the mum and dad who desperately need help and are struggling with stuff. And the grandparents actually bring on more work to the mum and dad than the grandparents who are meant to be helping do, because the grandparents just sit there, like, read the paper, ask the mum and dad to, like, keep making them food, make tea, and it's like, you guys are meant to be coming here to help us, but you guys aren't helping at all. Please go back home. By the way, Outnumbered, very underrated TV show if you haven't seen it. It's a British comedy series, so if you're from America, you might not have seen it, but really, that is probably in our top 100 best comedy series in the UK. It really is. Where would I rank it? It's probably in the top 50. Yeah, probably in the top 50. Does it crack the top 10? No, it doesn't crack the top 10. We've got so many great British comedies out there, but I'd say it's in the top 50. Top 50. It's very good, very funny. I really enjoy that. What's in the top 10 of great British TV shows while we're on the subject? Only Fools and Horses in there. Fawlty Towers is obviously in there. Peep Show, I think, is in there. Very, very British comedy. In-Betweeners for some of the newer ones. What we got? Some older ones. If we're going really old school, we're talking On the Buses. That's very, very funny if you haven't watched that. Where else? What else do I like? What's another one? Some of the other stuff with David Jason in before. So if we look back into that, we have Open All Hours, which is very good. You then had the prison one with the other guy who was in that. I can't remember the name of it. Porridge, that's very funny. I love old British comedies, so things like that, fantastic. There we go, we're on 7 or 8. That's enough. If you haven't seen any of those shows, give them a watch. They're all fantastic. If you're looking for new ones, definitely Peep Show, In-Betweeners. Those are 2 very good new British comedies to start yourself off on. IT Crowd is another good one. If you're looking for things to start off on, then I guess you go The Office, Extras by Ricky Gervais, if you like things like that. Ooh, yeah. Those are some good ones. Outnumbered is also in that top 10 of newer British comedies, because like all comedy in the last few years, it just seems to have really fallen off. There are very few shows within the last 10-15 years that are only good. If I think of good comedies in the last 10-15 years, TV shows, you're looking at Kim's Convenience, and this isn't British now, we're going across the board. Kim's Convenience is one. I Think You Should Leave is very funny, although some of the sketches in that can be a bit hit or miss. What else have I seen in the last few years that's funny? I can't really think about it. And the thing is, I've done this before, like Googled, just so that I can remember like good shows. So I'll do best comedy TV shows in the last 10 years. And the web will bring up some really weird ones that are like not a comedy whatsoever. See, these I wouldn't call comedy. See, they list some funny ones which I wouldn't call a comedy. Like The Good Place, I would call that like serialized television, like a sitcom. I would call it a sitcom, not just like a set comedy. But Good Place, that was pretty entertaining. I like that. There's some good moments in that. Community, I'm a big fan of Community. Scrubs, that's going to be over 10 years old now. That's not in there. Scrubs is good. I mean, that had its place. I felt like at the end it sort of tailed off, but a lot of TV shows like that do. I guess you say The American Office as well. I really liked Young Sheldon. I thought that was a pretty good TV show. I like The Big Bang Theory. I don't really think that's a comedy though. That's a sitcom. So, The Good Place, yeah, different ones. But what do you think? What are your best comedies of the year? How did I get onto this conversation when I was talking about 108-year-old, an old granny who cuts hair? No, Obarchan. But there we go. And someone did write a really good thing in the comments as well, which is that would make her Barbara Baba, which is, I think, funny. But next Japanese news story for you is, I think you've probably heard about this. In Japan, a million things get lost in the big wide world, and they almost always get returned into the police. And they were saying how much money has been returned to, just in Tokyo, how much money has been turned in by normal Japanese people, or they've been found on the subway, things like that, and they've been handed into the police. Well, according to this, it is a record 4.5 billion yen in lost cash has been turned into the Tokyo police, which is a huge amount of money. So that's about $40 million has been handed in just in Tokyo to the police. That's a lot of money. A lot of this doesn't get reclaimed apparently, and then the police use it. And can you imagine 40 million? I mean, that is so much money. It's almost worth you going into Tokyo, just going into the police station and chancing it and being like, "Oh, hey, I left 20. No, that's too much. I left 30,000 yen on the train yesterday. Did you find it?" And just see if they come up. Don't do that. That would be highly illegal. But I wonder what would happen if you do it. I don't even know what the process is for how you do it. But not only does cash get left, there is also an increasing things in like wallets, headphones, ID cards, they say here, driving licenses, they say are very popular. And pretty much anything that you can think of gets left and gets handed into the police here. It's very different from the UK. The honesty when it comes to cash here. And Japan isn't the only one. Korea is apparently the same. The Middle East is apparently the same. But in the UK, the US, if you find cash on the floor, that's pretty much yours, isn't it? If it's in a wallet, I feel like this is the kind of like line for pretty much everyone. If there's just cash on the floor, like you just see a 10, £15 note on the floor, bang, that's yours and that's no one else's. In Japan, it feels like it's a little bit different. If it's in a wallet, then that's fair enough. I will do a little bit to try and find the owner. I would maybe give it into the... I don't know what I would do in the UK if I found a wallet. If I found a wallet in the UK, would I hand it into the police? Maybe. To be honest, what I think I would probably try and do is, if there was like a driving license or something in the wallet, look for the address and maybe go there and see if I can hand it in to the person who's there. That would be the hope that you could do. That's, I think, what I'd probably do. Try and do that first. And then if I can't do that, go to the police. It depends what's in the wallet, really. But cash, if I'm finding cash on the floor, baby, that's going in my pocket and that's mine all day long. In fact, when me and my sister were really young, we were on holiday in America and we were in a Target and we found a $100 crisp bill on the floor in the Target. And we took that, showed our mum, and she was like, "Wow, that's really good." She took it off us, and then we could buy any present for ourselves that we wanted for the price of $50 thanks to that $100 crisp bill. And let me tell you something, you've never seen two happier children in the world. I actually secretly wonder if someone accidentally dropped it on the floor, saw two very small children get really excited about seeing a $100 bill, and then just went, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? Do I break their hearts and go, "Sorry, I just dropped that," or do I let them keep it? Oh, but to be honest, there was no one there. That's just my fictional imagination of wondering, looking back on the story and wondering, what would I do if I accidentally dropped... Actually, no, I know what I'd do. I'd be like, "Oh, sorry, kids, I just dropped that." But if I had the cash, I like to think that I could go, you know what? Go buy yourself a Tamagotchi with it. I'm not sure what I bought with it, thinking about it. Back then, I was about 8 or 9, and let me tell you something. I was into the Power Rangers and Pokemon more than any boy had ever been. I had so many of the little Power Ranger figures. I probably went and bought some of those, or Lord of the Rings. I used to love like action figures and playing with them all the time. I'm one of the few people in the world who actually bought them and played with them and didn't just leave them in a box now. When I see the like the walls of people's apartments and they have these pristine figures just as like display pieces, I always think, man, that's so sad. Well, there's a little kid out there who would love to play with those, but no, they're just sitting there keeping dust. I was just like, I don't see the point of it. I don't get it. I especially don't get it here in Japan. People love all these anime figures, and I'm like, great, what do you do? Do you play with them or something? And they're like, no, it's just a display piece. And I'm like, really? Yeah, there's not something else you want to display, like Goku? I was like, not my thing. Certainly not. But we've got some other news stories for you out there, apart from how fantastic the Japanese are with handing in money. They really are kind. This is a cool news story if you are, or maybe you just don't know about this. Japan is considering weighing South Koreans for being eligible for a second working visa. So at the moment, if you want to do like a working visa in Japan, I believe you have to be under 30 for the majority of the countries on the list. However, there are some countries on here where you have to be under 25 to do this working vacation, which is a bit of a shame because I feel like they should open it up to some of the older people there, like me, who's over 30 now. I'm so old. They should open this up to more people, but some countries are eligible for a second working visa. So you can do 2 years off a working visa, which I think is fantastic. If you want to come to Japan, work in some of the like the ski industries or different industries, brilliant. Definitely come to Japan, do it. And it's a good way to come if you don't have a teaching degree, because that's how most people, or a degree, most people come to Japan through a foreign and work, or at least in America, US, probably the people that are watching this, to become teachers. But this is a great way. And I actually think this is a better way than becoming a teacher, because you get to actually see more for Japan. The work is a little bit more flexible, and perhaps you have a little bit more choice of where you're going to be placed. If you come to Japan on some of the teaching programs, you get no choice and you can end up in the middle of nowhere like Tsushima. So yeah, and also this is maybe even better. I think if I had known about this working travel visa, maybe I would have done this first before becoming a teacher, just to see what Japan's like, get to travel it a little bit more. Because living in Tsushima, I don't really feel like I've traveled Japan. I haven't seen it enough to do what I want to do, because I just don't have the time, and it's difficult to get off the island. Although I am getting on a flight to Nagasaki in the next less than 1 hour. So I've got about 5 more minutes of this podcast, and then I've got to make it very short. But if you come here on this working visa, especially if you can do 2 years, the UK, I believe, is one of these countries that you can do it. Canada is one, New Zealand is one, Denmark is one, and apparently Austria is one, and German and Ireland and Slovakia are also one. So come check this out if you want to come to Japan. Working visa, see what it's like. Might be better than teaching visa. And even if you think I'm just going to do a long vacation in Japan, this might be good to do. You can get some money for you, get to live life as a true Japanese person. Get a job, get broken down by your Japanese boss, cry in the toilets for 20 minutes, and work until midnight, and then start the process all over again, because that is the Japanese dream, and if it isn't, then I don't know what is. But next news story for you is, these are cool, and I've never seen a place offer this sort of tourism thing. And this is whirlpool viewing season, which I didn't even know was a thing. So in Japan, you can go and get on a boat, and you can travel to a place where they have actual physical whirlpools, and you can go and take pictures of them. Now that I'm describing it, it doesn't sound so fun. So you can go out to the sea, see where the sea is making a whirlpool, take pictures of it, record it, and then I guess that's kind of it, because you can't get in the water because it's too dangerous. But you can see these natural phenomenons for real, and they've got picture of a boat here, and people viewing the whirlpools. And now that I've said it aloud, this doesn't sound as cool to me. This doesn't sound as fun, but you can go and do this if you're into the sea. I was very excited about this when I first saw the news story, because I thought, I've never seen these in real life. I love the sea. I love going scuba diving. So to see one of these in real life would be very cool. But now that I have said it aloud, that I want to just go and see the sea spinning around when waves just go like that normally, I've sort of taken the fun out of it for myself, and I don't want to do it anymore. But nonetheless, you might want to go and see the beautiful sea and see it spinning around, because it's quite cool. The first time I saw this in like a TV show, I didn't even think that they were real, that the sea could actually do this. But no, there are special conditions that can create whirlpools, and you can go and see them in Japan. You can pay money to go and see the sea move like that. When you see that every day when you clean your teeth and the water goes down the plug hole. Doesn't sound as fun, does it? But there we go. As I said, I have got to go and catch a flight, so I'm going to end the podcast there. Sorry, it's a very, very short podcast. I owe you guys 10 or 15 minutes, so I will try and make the next one extra long. But have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I will see you again on Tuesday. See you again soon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.